Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are talking the Philadelphia Eagles, guys. And if you saw my stream yesterday, you knew that it was not the stream was good. It was good. The Chiefs and Packers game was actually a pretty good one. It came down to the final play. But the Eagles game, as you can see in the beginning of the stream, I was pretty upset over that. The Eagles ended up losing 42-9. We're going to be going in on the Philadelphia Eagles here. And yeah, but we have a lot of things to cover in this game. And we will I just don't want to waste any more time. We'll get into it. A little bit of updates first. We do have a lot of good videos planned out. Obviously, I'm filming this after the Eagles did sign Shaq Leonard to a one-year deal. So we're going to have that video coming out tomorrow. We're going to have top 5 NFL teams tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to do college football. The committee, did they get it right with the college football playoffs? I'll be talking about that. But let's just get right into it. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe. Hit your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my bro, Linda Great Blogs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cog Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the video and let's roll that intro. Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today... Oh, hell yeah! Well, it's not that hard to understand if you know anything about football. Touchdown! A touchdown! Philly! And the Phillies walk it off! Alright, let's get right into the video. Not that I want to do this. Obviously, we are start off with the Eagles offense and their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I mean, it wasn't the worst game in the world for Hurts. I'll give him credit that he did come back from his concussion protocol sort of thing. Obviously, I don't like the 58% completion percentage, passing the football, but his receivers weren't getting open down the field. Brian Johnson is running these guys out to no man's land, and what the hell do you expect him to do? The offensive line did a pretty good job. We'll get into that in just a few minutes, but Jalen Hurts, I don't know what the hell you wanted to do. He's just dancing around in the pocket. There's really not much you could do. He might as well have just ran and slide, leading into my next point. Why was he not sliding? I don't care what the score is. I don't care if we have a touchdown, if we're winning by a point, or if we're losing by 30, which in this case we were. I don't care what it is. You have to slide. This, in today's NFL, and with all the injuries we have seen this season to quarterbacks and past years as well, you cannot run without sliding. Once again, as I said, one shot, your season is over. And it was a big scare there. I thought it was his knee originally. I thought that was the problem. But thank God he passed the concussion protocol, or else I would have had to deal with Marcus Mariota for more long, and that's all you need to know about that. I don't need to go into further discussions about Marcus Mariota. Moving on to our running backs. The fact that DeAndre Swift got 6 carries is honestly ridiculous. I understood that we might have had a bit of problems running up the gut to start, but that doesn't mean you can't put the ball in DeAndre Swift's hands. He is one of our top 5 playmakers on the team right now when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. I don't know why he's not getting more touches. That is absolutely ridiculous. Only had 4 carries in the first half, 2 carries in the second half. You weren't beating the San Francisco 49ers. You were getting your asses beat on defense. And then on offense, the passing game's not really seeming to working too much. Let's play a little bit of trickery ball, maybe. Give DeAndre Swift it on the end, or some jet sweeps to Swift, something like that. Try and fake him out a little bit, take the pressure off of the box. Make sure those linebackers don't come in the gaps. There's things that you can do to get DeAndre Swift the football that Brian Johnson didn't try hard enough. I'm gonna be bashing him throughout the entire game. Bringing Brian Johnson. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown. I mean, for the most part, he was used right. He, ran those 5-yard in routes. I thought he did a good job there getting those yards after the catch, something we haven't seen the past couple of weeks. Those routes where he was just grabbing on the Ward and trying to go for a jump ball, that's absolutely stupid. Ward is one of the best one-on-one covers in the NFL. I understand that A.J. Brown is probably the best one-on-one receiver in the NFL right now, but when he is not even running a route and you just expect him to go up and get a jump ball, it's not going to really work out against one of the best one-on-one corners in the NFL. It doesn't really make too much sense to me. I like the 114 yards. Obviously, what I don't like is that he had 13 targets and he only had 8 catches. Once again, I do believe that the routes that he was running was a problem. Not the way that he ran the route, it was just the routes that were called for him. I believe that they were a problem. Moving on to Devontae Smith. I mean, he had a good start, but in the third quarter, he was just non-existent. Obviously, he had that great 3rd and 18 screen pass run. He was holding on to the football. He was staying on his feet. He was getting the yards after the catch, all the things you like to see. But nobody came alive in the third quarter, and that was including Devontae Smith. I really wish that he could have stepped up to the plate, helping that offense, because A.J. Brown has not done that in the past couple of weeks. He has been the one to step up in the past couple of weeks. I was hoping that he was going to. Unfortunately, he did not. The touchdown was meaningless in the fourth quarter. His consistency has been good over the past couple of weeks. I just wish it would last throughout the entire game. Moving on to Quez Watkins. You might as well put him on there. I mean, Julio Jones and Olomide Zaccheaus didn't even get a target. I mean, they were in there for how long? Zaccheaus had a jump ball touchdown last week. I don't know why, in God's name, he wasn't getting the football, but that's neither here nor there. Watkins, you might as well just put him back up there once again. He did get some early grabs that did pull some attention away from Smith and Brown. But other than that, really nothing else to show forth. Moving on to our tight ends. I mean, it seemed like Stoll and Alberto, they were splitting reps. I mean, they didn't really do much. I just really think we have to sign Zach Ertz, so hopefully that gets done and dusted. Moving on to our offensive line, they were actually a lot better than I thought they were going to be. I was very scared about the ends, obviously, with Chase Young and Nick Bosa. Obviously, Chase Young has beaten Jordan Mailata a lot of times, most of the time this season when it comes to rushing the passer. But Mailata held his own. He did a really good job. Lane Johnson, he lost a few reps to Nick Bosa, but for the most part, he held up. Even with that groin injury, that's just a testament to his greatness there. Hurts was able to stand in the pocket for a very long time. It's just the problem. The receivers weren't getting open, and we couldn't even show forth our run attack because Brian Johnson doesn't give DeAndre Swift the football. So it is what it is. But for not really for the most part, for the entire game, they were great. That was probably the only good part about our team today. Moving on to our defensive line. I mean, we were able to pressure Purdy early. Everything happened early, which is just ridiculous. We were able to pressure him early, which is something that I was liking to see, even though that kind of derailed our coverage, but I'll get into that in just a few minutes. Because he was throwing the ball away. He was feeling the pressure. He was running out of the pocket. He's not that good when it comes to throws on the run. You were making him throw the ball away. We did really good start. I think they had a 3 and out and another 3 and I think they had 2 3 and outs to start, something around there. I don't know what we were doing for the last 3 quarters. We couldn't cover. Bradbury had a good game, but I'll get into that in just a few minutes. We just couldn't get pressure on him in the last 3 quarters. I don't know what the hell was happening. Did we just take the last 3 quarters off? We had 2 sacks against Purdy. I understand that you're going up against one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. I didn't say that you needed 5 or 6 sacks. What I said is that you need to put pressure on Purdy, which we ultimately ended up doing in the first quarter, which resulted in incompletions and punts for the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, we didn't feel like doing that in the last 3 quarters. Did we just think Purdy was going to run into a sack? He's not a running quarterback. Doesn't make too much sense. We got our you-know-what kicked into us. When it comes to the run defense, they were just terrible the entire game, most notably the second half. I mean, they didn't even look like they were trying. It just looked like they were getting picked up and thrown to the side. It was like the 49ers were playing against nothing when they was playing against the air when it comes to that run defense. That was absolutely terrible. And, the Eagles, one of the best run defenses in the NFL. I understand that they're a little banged up at defensive tackle, but you can at least try and make an effort to tackle Christian McCaffrey. Moving on to our linebackers, I mean, when it comes to tackling, these guys were just, I don't even know. I mean, they couldn't tackle for nothing. I understand that Cunningham wasn't back. Thank God you signed Shaq Leonard. I'll talk a little bit about that more tomorrow. Morrow, I mean, he gave up about 138 yards passing. I mean, Jesus Christmas, why the hell he was on Deebo Samuel is beyond me. I mean, he was getting burnt like a chicken nugget. Jeez Louise, he was terrible in coverage. Which is why I don't like our linebackers in coverage. If we're playing tight, if we're the worst team, one of the worst teams against tight ends, and linebackers are the primary defenders on tight ends on our team, I guess you could say, then how the hell are we going to go up against one of the top receivers in the NFL? That's just ridiculous. Whoever put Morrow on Samuel, I don't know who that was. I hope it wasn't the line. I hope it wasn't Desai, because I thought he actually didn't do a terrible job today. But we'll get into that in just a few minutes. Moving on to our cornerbacks, I mean, talk about being disinterested in tackle. Seth Joyner, you might have saw it, he is 100% right. They have no interest in tackling. I understand that Darius Slay might have came out on Twitter and said all this, that, and the other, trying to defend the team. You can defend them all you want. The film don't lie. I mean, they look so disinterested. Wrap up. I mean, it's just wrestling where you just want to shoulder tackle them and, give some pushes and here, there, and that. If you want to do that, go to WWE. I cover WWE too. You want to do that, I'll cover you there. But don't go onto the field and not wrap up. One of the first things you learn about tackling is how to wrap up. I think one of the last things you learn how to do. But anyway, the basics of tackling are, goodness gracious, are to wrap up. Goodness gracious, you play football. Your job is to get dirty, make the tackle. And the covers don't make up for it either. I mean, if you just want to sit there and stare at your guy and not communicate where your guy is, most notably Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings, you weren't communicating where they were. George Kittle was open 95% of the time. You want to do that, go right ahead. Just don't ask for your paycheck this week. Moving on to our safeties. Once again, Steph Joyner, 100% right. Blankenship, he did a really good job. He was just body slamming brothers out there. I thought he did a really good job there. Bayer did a good bunch of nothing too, so that really shows. Moving on to our coaching. If Brian Johnson has a football job by tomorrow morning, I think I am going to lose my mind. Once again, one of the top secondaries in the NFL. You are running your receivers out 30 yards. The San Francisco 49ers were going for 5-yard plays just about every time until the Eagles completely gave up in the later stages of the game and they could just score touchdowns like it was nobody's business. Why can't you go short? If we did that and it started out great. I thought Brian Johnson had a great start to the game. He was throwing those short passes to A.J. Brown. We were getting the football off. Jalen Hurts was getting protected. I thought that we had a great start to this game, and then all of a sudden he wants to run his receivers 50 yards down the field. Maybe he assumed that the 49ers were going to play more, more towards Hurts, more towards within 5 yards. I'm not entirely sure what the hell he was thinking. It's not the worst logic, but this team can make in-game adjustments very, very quickly. He didn't give the 49ers any respect when it came to their secondary, and that's the biggest problem right there. And once again, didn't give the ball to DeAndre Swift. 6 carries from DeAndre Swift. That is just absolutely atrocious. I can't really blame him too much. We put pressure on Purdy, and apparently we just didn't feel like tackling today. We just didn't feel like it. We didn't feel like being millionaires today. Or yesterday. Moving on to our bottom line. I mean, this is bad. I mean, really, really bad. And we have to have some interest. We're on the verge of losing the number 1 seed in the NFC and not getting our bye. And we're a banged-up team right now with a lot of injuries, something we haven't faced last season. We got to start playing some football games here. We didn't look like we wanted to come to play yesterday. I mean, we could be hyping it up, Nick Sirianni could be showing trash talk videos and all this to the team. I mean, no matter what, you got to come out there and perform. They just didn't look like they wanted to perform today. I don't know. It's a real shame when you think about it, and see it. If you're an Eagles fan, nobody was rooting for us in this game. But what are you gonna do? It is what it is. That'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Lynn the Great Blogs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my second channel at Run the Kai Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X at Run the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Run the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast, and make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Run the Great Podcast. And as always, Run the Great out. Peace.